Good morning, everyone. Welcome to GIS Day 2023. I'm Yoko Myers, IT Manager at the County of Santa Clara. Today, I am one of your hosts for this event. Our theme for this year's GIS Day is using GIS technology to explore, innovate, and transform. This theme underscores the incredible power and potential that Geographic Information Systems offer. Whether you are a seasoned GIS expert or someone just beginning their journey into this fascinating world, you are in the right place. Today, we have a remarkable opportunity to explore how the County of Santa Clara and other forward-thinking organizations harness the power of GIS to develop critical programs and services. We have a series of captivating presentations that highlight the real-world applications and boundless potential of GIS. So, brace yourself for the next 3.5 hours filled with insights and inspiration. With that, let's begin the GIS Day.
It's 2023, and in the County of Santa Clara, we use GIS to explore, innovate, and transform.
First, I would like to cover some housekeeping. This meeting is recorded. All attendees are muted by default. If you have any questions during the presentations, feel free to type your questions in the chat. We will address them after each session. For County of Santa Clara Assessor's Office attendees, if you'd like to claim BOE credits, please make sure to join this webinar with your full name and county email address. Now, I would like to give you a quick overview of today's program. After opening remarks from our county's Chief Information Officer, we will hear from our keynote speaker, Todd Schubel from Cook County Government, Illinois. After the keynote, we will have the two tracks running in parallel. We have 3 presentations in each track. After the 3 presentations, panel discussion on careers in GIS is scheduled using the Track A Zoom session. I will give you a reminder and instruction after keynote speech. At this time, I would like to introduce Nina D'Amato, Chief Information Officer for the County of Santa Clara. Nina is also the head of Technology Services and Solutions Department of the county. Before taking on her current role, she served as the Associate CIO for the Shared Business Services of TSS. Prior to joining the County of Santa Clara in November 2020, Nina was at the City and County of San Francisco, where she has served as a CIO's Chief of Staff for the past 3 years. Previously, she served in the Marine Corps, achieving the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Nina earned a Bachelor of Arts from University of Washington and a Master of Arts from UC Berkeley. She is a graduate of Marine Corps Command and Staff General College and holds a certificate in legislative studies from Georgetown, as well as a certificate in design thinking from Stanford. She holds a project management certificate from UC Berkeley and is a certified Scrum Master. With that, I would like to hand it over to Nina.
Thanks, Yoko. I'm honored to be here today. I mean, maps are one of my absolute favorite things. I collect them. I have books on them. And obviously being a Marine, one thing you learn is you better understand how to navigate. But before we talk about today, and one of my favorite elements, GIS, I want to take us back. I want to take us way back to the 1700s. You know, why so far back? Well, I want to tell you a tiny little story about John Harrison. So put on your history caps and walk backwards with me. So it's the 1700s, and sailors in the 1700s, when they navigated the globe, they set out on a method called dead reckoning. Dead reckoning is when you look out and you aim for a point and you set sail for that point. And while latitude was understood by the sailors and the captains of the ship, longitude was not understood. So dead reckoning was how the sailors actually tried to navigate the seas. Well, if you've ever been in a boat, you understand that as soon as you set in the boat, and if you were to actually try to get to a point, you would start to drift. You certainly didn't understand at this time that the world is spinning, right? And the world, sailors didn't understand their time and space. They didn't understand time and space. They consistently were running into weather patterns that they couldn't predict. There were storms, right? We've all seen the storms and we've seen the news. There was fog. There was no understanding of where they were in transit on the map. And they certainly didn't understand where they landed. And there's plenty of episodes in history where we see that navigators and explorers of the 17 and 18, well, not so much the 1800s, but certainly the 1700s and previously, were just landing in random places, thinking they were somewhere else. So this idea of where we are in time and space was so difficult to understand that the British government put together a law, and that act was called the Longitudinal Act of 1714. And the Longitudinal Act of 1714 was actually an X Prize concept. It was an award to whomever would come forth and solve the problem of longitude. I mean, today we take this for granted, right? And GIS is way beyond where we were in the 1700s. However, it was so difficult to understand this, and almost that it couldn't be solved until John Harrison came along. And John Harrison was an uneducated clockmaker in London. He understood that longitude, understanding your time and space, was the key for sailors and navigators of the era. John Harrison invented a clock, and that clock is called the Harrison clock. And the only reason today that we understand longitude is because there was a committed tinkerer named John Harrison that invented the Harrison clock. And today, the Harrison clock is at Greenwich Naval Observatory in London. You can actually take the train out there, and that's the prime meridian. That's the 0 degrees of the longitudinal lines. So I tell you that little vignette because today, today, 2023, when things are so complex and making sense of the world and its time and its space, where we're headed, where we are today, where potentially we could be going, has been transformed. And GIS today is the Harrison clock of the 1700s, right? Understanding where we are with incredible dimension, right? Visuals, ingesting that data, making it consumable so we can make decisions, how we're going to navigate, where we're headed. That is you. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your commitment to this work. I want to thank you for your commitment to innovation, for helping the lay people of the world, such as myself, understanding how we make decisions, how we can forecast where we are. It's incredible what GIS has become, and it's critical to what we do every day. So thank you for coming far and wide today and spending the day with us. I look forward to popping in throughout the day and seeing what we have in store. So I'll pass it back to Yoko. But if you don't believe me on the longitudinal problem, go ahead and pick up the book Longitude and text me or ping me on email. I'd love to discuss it. It's one of my favorite books. So Yoko, back to you.